Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Beth. I'm also known as Gita, and I will be your guide today. So in our last workshop of God, Money, Mindset, there's been a slight shift in the name, and it's to signify that in these workshops and in the subsequent program that we're rolling out, we'll be working from our God self. So we're going to be activating and initiating the God self today. So in the last workshop, we worked on the blue sky meditation to sort of reset any kind of aspirations and also to clear out the negative cortex or negative thoughts that are coming up for us. Today, as I promised, we're going to go into some goal setting. And in order to prepare ourselves for goal setting, we will be using a technique that gives you the geometry mind. It's actually so you can create a goal that can be abstracted into real life. So this is a workshop meditation, process meditation, which we'll be going through. And after that, we're going to also go through a little exercise on how we can best shift our attitude over to the goal, to the God self from the ego self. So we have two selves, and right now we're talking about switching everything over to a God self. Even money is going to go over to the God self. Okay, we're going to jump into it. I think we're ready to set some goals or prepare our minds to set some goals. So we'll go ahead and play the meditation from Dr. Pillai. At the end of the meditation, there is at the end of the lecture he gives, a very brief lecture, there's going to be a bit of a meditation on a square. So each square is about 30 to 45 seconds. And if you can just silently gaze at that square in order to absorb the energy of the geometry of the square. And Dr. Pillai will tell you why we're doing it this way in his lecture. So I guess we can get started now. Good luck.
So what you need to do is look at your goal. As I said in the beginning, when you say, I don't know, don't say, I don't know. You better know what you do. Otherwise, it will be a problem. Goal setting is very important. Why are we not able to create good goals and very practical goals? Again, blame it on the brain. Again, blame it on the brain. The brain is not thinking the right thoughts. It's not squaring away things. All that you need to have is just one good idea. And that idea is like, for instance, I want all the people of the world my customers. Then you will come up with a product like that. Then everybody would want to use that product. Okay. I want to give you a small exercise here. Close your eyes. And this will help you to square away things. Look, I'm using this word very consciously. Square away. Just imagine a square. That will straighten your goal setting. Don't think this is a simple technique which has no significance. There's tremendous amount of significance. Geometry is everything. That's why Plato said, if you want to realize God or go to a higher state of consciousness, you should have geometry. In his academy, people were not allowed to participate unless they have geometry. So I'm not going to go into this, that's not necessary here. Just imagine a square. A blue square or a red square, each color has its own value, that you can do any square for that matter. Geometry is abstraction. Matter, abstraction, and then the superintelligence. This is the sequence. That's why geometry is very important. It's closer to the primordial energy. You can even draw squares. Even if you sit on a square room, that will change your energy too. That's why feng shui is very important, or vastu in Sanskrit. Now, relax. Slowly, slowly open your eyes.
Okay, so we just squared away our goals. And now we're ready to set goals. But the question comes, are those goals going to be from our ego mind or from our God mind? Most goals are set from our ego mind. In fact, only 8% of the people who set goals actually follow through. So that means that there's some commitment, some force, life force that's not behind that goal. And it's seen throughout. It's not just a goal, it's a lot of things that we take on in life, whether we start a new class and do we complete that class in total faith and total learning, or do we kind of quit halfway through? Reading books, starting any endeavor, any new endeavor, that particularly an endeavor that will challenge our karma. It will challenge our self. These are difficult to complete. What we're going to do is find out what is in between our ego self our ego mind and our God mind. So just to give another illustration on this, you can say, Shreem Brazil, I'm making money now. Shreem Brazil, I'm making money now. Shreem Brazil, I'm making money now. You can say it 108 times, but the question comes, what are you thinking when you're not saying, Shreem Brazil, I'm making money now? What are those subtle thoughts? And it's very difficult to get a hold of those because they're in the subconscious. They're also in the conscious. We know roughly what they are. Sometimes it's an emotion too. So what those thoughts are, they're thoughts that are latching on to our deep beliefs about making money. They are consensus reality thoughts. Consensus reality are thoughts that are out there, thoughts that everyone believes about money. And I want to tell a quick story here, and then we're going to get into a little exercise to see if we can release ourselves of some of these consensus reality thoughts, some of these beliefs that we have inside of us, so that we can go on to making committed goals that are from our soul, from our God self. The story is, this just happened actually just a few nights ago. I was on a coaching call and there was a young man there. And he had a sales job and he's been struggling in this sales job. So he hasn't been able to sell much, if anything. And I think it's probably been several months now. And so it's really frustrating, and probably the pressure's, coming on him as well. He hasn't been able to do anything. And then in the coaching call, what we did is we put up a few belief systems that we hold on to in life. Everybody holds on to them. It's not just him. All of us have it to a certain degree. And the whole idea is to get that degree level down. So we put up a few of them. And he had a huge revelation when he saw what actually gets created from some of these belief systems, these attitudes that we have. And what his realization is that he said, wow, I'd realized that I am both judgmental and blaming. Well, how can that be? And why is that stopping you from sales? He said, well, what happens is when I go in to sell something to somebody, I know my product is superior. And I will go in and say to them, hey, from a very judgmental side, you're not using the right thing. Your whole system of what you're doing here is completely wrong. It doesn't work. And he said, I realized, because judgment will actually freeze reality. If you hold on to, if you have judgment, like I said, everybody has some of these to some degree, is to determine how much of it you have. If you have judgment in you, you'll be freezing the reality. That means you can't change. And then the second thing he said is blame. He said, I was even blaming them for not buying from me, instead of taking a look at myself and saying, what am I doing wrong? And he said, both this blame and this judgment were stopping me from selling. So he had a massive revelation. And just by seeing that attitude, he shifted over to a whole different place. And so now we're going to wait to see how his sales come. But I'm sure there's going to be a tremendous increase in his sales. Okay, so what I want you all to do is to write down, hopefully you can grab a pen and paper. If not, you can do it on your iPhone, what your ego mind beliefs might be. And I'm going to give a few of them. Okay, we did talk about blame. We talked about judgment. Blame, by the way, is something that kind of releases you of your own sovereign power. Sovereign power, what it does is it gives the power to the other person when it's you're going through this life and it's your success. So you got to take control of it. So what I want everyone to do is write down what your ego mind beliefs are. And I'm going to give a few, particularly around money. Okay. So There was something someone reminded me yesterday, and I heard this growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. So what does that suggest? That suggests that money is really difficult to come by. That subtle imprinting, or maybe it's not too subtle, came to us when we were kids. So this imprinting of money doesn't grow on trees means it's going to be really hard to find money. I have to wait till the end of the month to make money. Dr. Pillai talks about this a lot. We wait for that paycheck to come at the end of the month. Why? We could be making money today. So are you comfortable waiting and actually doing the work and then getting paid after you do the work? I have to work hard to make money. That's another one. It's going to take a long time, and I have to work really hard at it. That's just a mindset. That's an ego mindset. That's not a God mind mindset. There's another one that's a little tender. I feel bad when friends and family do better than me. And that's something that you have to dig into yourself deeply and honestly and say, am I wishing others well? Am I wishing others well? Do I want their success as much or more than mine? And if you get to that stage, you will open up a plethora of opportunities. So then maybe there's a few others you can think of. I'm hoping as I'm speaking, some are coming to your mind too. You might have a judgment about money that's really subconscious. Like, I can only succeed at one thing. Like if I'm working out and losing weight, I can't make money. Okay, so that's something that we hold this kind of if-then statement in our minds. When it's a 200% life, both are available. It's the same amount of energy. So, you can do both. You can lose weight, you can work out, and you can find some way to make some extra money on the side. Just have to put your mind on it. Or maybe it's when someone drives a nice car and they drive by you. And do you think, look at them, they're flaunting their money. Do they really need to have that, huge Rolls Royce or whatever it may be? So these are just examples of judgments, and they're small, of course, right? It's not like we're doing anything. We may not be taking any action on them, but these feelings and emotions are very, very powerful. And they have a hold over our psyche. They have a hold and they block us from moving in to the God money self. Okay. So hopefully you've been writing as I've been speaking. Now what we're going to go to do right now is, and this is an exercise you can do later on. You might even think about it after we taught a class on judgment the other day, or judgment was one of the pieces of it. And then immediately I went out to breakfast with someone, and my eyes went on something, and I was like, I'm judgment. I've had judgment about that. So then I'm like, no, I gotta unwind that. And then you could just say, I'm not judging anyone. I'm not judging anyone. I wish everyone well. I wish everyone success. I wish everyone amazing things in their life. And if you keep saying that, it's going to happen. It's just the way it works. But you got to put your attention on it. You have to care enough to do that. And then you'll start to see yourself moving more into God money mindset. Okay, what I'd like to do now is just really quickly go over our program that we have coming up. It starts on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, but it will be a 6-week program. And Ronnie, if you could put that up, that'd be great. Thanks. Okay. All right. So it's a 6-week program, and it's a way of life, in my opinion. It's a revolutionary new way to shift your perspective on money. Now, it doesn't have to be an entrepreneurial venture. In fact, we've changed the name of the program because it could be anything. It could be getting out of debt. It could be anything around money where you can see that the money could grow if you moved into the God money mindset. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a big venture. It could be small or it could be big. but we're going to go through a program that helps people build the God money mindset so that you can use it over and over again, not just right now, but you can go and take these principles and these steps and apply it to anything you have going on. Okay, so it's going to be a 6-week experience. There'll be experiential live sessions. There's also going to be what we call thought labs in one of the levels. And the thought labs is something Dr. Pillai has wanted for a very long time for us to do. And that is where we are going to get into a group. So it would be a small group. It'll be less than 10 people to maybe 10 to 15 people per group. And we'll have several groups if we have that number. And we're going to focus on something. We're going to focus on it could be a goal. It could be anything. It could be a problem, but we're probably going to make it more positive affirmation. So it's going to be a goal. It's going to be, how can I do something? By the end of the thought lab, you will have your answer, and it will come from your God self, not your ego mind self. It won't come from strategy and I'm not putting those down, but I'm just saying this will be a revelation. This will be something that comes from your soul. We also have what I call wisdom guidances from Dr. Pillai. Recently, he has been very focused on helping his students attain some financial freedom in their life. And he's been giving a lot of phrases, a lot of them, more than that. They're what you call his sankalpa. It's his intention for us. So we're going to be putting several of those. Every class is going to have at least 2 or 3. And even though it may be a one phrase intention, it is packed with his energy and his intention for change. So it's going to be something that could even shake you. Sometimes we need a little bit of Dr. Pillai is good at this. We need a little bit of a poke. We need something that's going to help us move out of our ego mindset and see the difference, and then get over to the God mind mindset. We also have re-energized teachings from Millionaire Yoga, which was a foundational program that Dr. Pillai taught in order to move people into more of a money consciousness. So there'll be some teachings there, and he has mentioned that he'll also be giving a new teaching. Okay, Ronnie, you can go to the next slide. So this is just some highlights of it. And the way it's going to go is the God money mindset is something you build. Like if you're building a house, you don't just put a cinder block down and put your house on top of it and say, okay, I'm finished. There is a foundation that you need to do. And we're going to be literally training the brain, but not only just training the brain, we're going to be training the neurons, the chakras, our whole body. We're a whole body. So kind of training this whole body into a God money mindset. So step 1 is we're going to get to know yourself, get to know your God self. Now, what that is there are different perspectives what we have about ourselves. So what we're going to do is go deep into those perspectives and find the ones that are limiting us, and then remove those. We're going to have an activation technique for the third eye, so you can naturally have effectual consciousness and not causal consciousness. We're going to energize the brain's manifestation centers, but this has actually to do with your vital life force and putting your whole vital life force around the commitment that or the goal that you have, whatever it may be. Like I said, it could be anything. Okay, Ronnie, next slide. And then we have 3 more steps. So then after we kind of have laid the groundwork and we've got the activation there, we've kind of put our energy behind it, our soul is behind it, we're going to cleanse the negative cortex. So you're saying, why are you doing this now and not before? And the reason is that identities start to come up. I am this, I am that, I am not this, I am not that. I can do this, I can't do this. Those types of things. This is about the time that those start to come. And you're going to be encouraged to bring an idea, whatever it may be, whatever you need to work through. You're going to bring it and you're going to work from beginning to end on that idea. Hopefully at the end of the program, you'll have progress on it. So we're going to get over some of the identities that are rooting themselves and bubbling up to the surface at this point. We're going to awaken the emotional brain. That's essentially passion. You need to have passion in order to have motivation. A lot of times, spiritual people struggle a little bit. You might be really excited in the beginning, jump onto a new idea, and then you hit a couple roadblocks and the motivation starts to wane. So what we're going to do is keep that fire burning. And then the God money mindset of abundance means basically we're going to lock it in so that you have that energy with you and you can proceed. You can go on after the program feeling equally as energized. And also, if you need to go back, of course, you can repeat the steps. So that is my God money mindset. And I hope as many of you who feel called to do this program do join us. It's going to be exciting. To me, it's a way of life. It's just basically shifting from the belief system that we have that what everything we see and hear is our reality. Doesn't need to be that. We're going to go into our God self and create a new reality. So with Dr. Pillai's energy, his blessings, his sankalpa, and his teachings. So I hope to see you all, and hope this also, the exercise has been helpful for your goal setting. Namaste.
அருட்பெரும் யோகி அருட்பெரும் யோகி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை அருட்பெரும் யோகி அருட்பெரும் யோகி அருட்பெரும் யோகி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் யோகி அருட்பெரும் யோகி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் யோகி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் யோகி அருட்பெரும் யோகி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் யோகி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை பெரும் ஜோதி அருட்பெரும் யோகி அருட்பெரும் யோகி தனிப்பெரும் கருணை பெரும் ஜோதி